Good morning, bedheads. Click. How's it going today? Haven't done a coffee with Karen for like a week, so I had to get my old bedhead going on and coming on here and sharing some coffee with you. So Lucy's sitting on my lap. We are going to talk about the last year. Last year on November 5th, which is today, November 5th, 2025. Last year on November 25th, or November 5th, 2024, was a very, very, very hard day for many of us. Not everybody, but for many of us, a very hard day. And I thought it would be helpful to reflect over the year. And in fact, what I did is I pulled 5 transcripts from my own videos of videos that we did. And I'm going to read the titles to you in a little bit. 5 of the videos that we did touching base with Kamala Harris's higher self, asking questions about the election, all this kind of stuff. And I asked Mabel, my AI, I used ChatGPT. I uploaded all the transcripts and asked her to put together a summary of what we went through this year. Okay. And I didn't put a lot of work into this, and we are going to just rely on Mabel having dissected it for us or woven it together. And I think she did a pretty good job. I read the description, some of the interview and stuff, or some of the intro. So what you doing, sweets? What you doing? So I think this will be an interesting conversation. But first, let me explain my mug. So this is how we felt, right? Oh, but this is how I feel now, having you guys. Thanks for making my world a happier place, because it would not have been the same without having our community to process all the things. And for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. So glad you're here. You've missed a lot over what we've been doing. So those of you who have been around and stuck with me all year with my ups and downs and my learning about stuff and making mistakes, and, which is common, especially when you don't edit. Or I had feelings, and I'm very, very open to what I'm thinking, but that doesn't mean I'm right. And it doesn't mean that my perspective doesn't need to shift or anything like that. And you guys have supported me and our channel the entire year. And the thing is we just did it together, right? Because I was feeling the feelings, you were feeling the feelings, and we have come together and processed those. So thanks for making my world a happier place, because boy, oh boy, that is how the world felt last year, didn't it? It's crazy. I can't believe it's been a full year. I can't, and I can, it's that whole thing. Besides, it feels so long. She's trying to get down in her normal spot. There we go. But I'm sitting with my legs crossed. Okay. Yeah, we've grown a lot, haven't we? We've grown a lot, and that's the only thing we can thank, this regime for, is it's pushed us to the brink, which has required us to grow spiritually and in other ways so much. It's made us so much more aware of things than we ever were. And I'm super excited going into 2026 because I've got plans, and it is going to look a little different. I'm hoping many of you will join us in the spirit circle. We're going to have 2 different levels, we think. And so, because that's where a lot of Coffee with Karens and oracle readings and deeper work is going to happen, so that we can do it not that I want to leave people out in the public. I actually feel a little sad about it. Doesn't mean we won't, but I always need the flexibility. Like, I'm just throwing shit out there right now. but I do have like some major outlines and plans ready. So, for 2026, I just want to go deeper. I want to go deeper with a smaller group of people because on the community channel, there's people coming and going all the time, and we have to monitor those, and we still will. We're still going to be on the public channel. It's just our focuses might be a little different. And I want to go deeper with people who want to go deeper in the spiritual, looking at the changes that are coming up for us in the next 5, 10, 15 years and working on ourselves as we continue to monitor the changes that are happening in our world, but working on ourselves a little deeper and a little bit more, because like right now on the public channel, I just go from topic to topic, topic, topic. I have no time myself or energy to dissect, to go deeper on anything. I'm just constantly looking for, what's the next topic to discuss? What's the next topic to discuss? And so I really want to take the time in 2026 to integrate what I'm learning spiritually from the 3D. Like the 3D has taught us so much, but I haven't had any time to integrate it, And I'm not sure, I'm hoping there are people here who want to go deeper in the integration too, rather than just flipping from one issue to the next, right? So I think it's going to be really good. I'm super excited about it, but we'll be, that's my little teaser. I've been teasing about it for a little while. I told you a couple months ago that the spirit circle was going to shift, but we are still going to have a spirit circle level. Let's just say we're kind of right now, tentatively, we're calling it the path. So there will be one touch point in the path right now. For, again, these ideas are tentative. And I did tell my sister I wasn't going to talk too much about it until we kind of finalized stuff. But I'm just doing some just kind of preempting stuff that I'm pretty sure is going to happen. So, yeah, so there'll be still like one coffee with Karen, let's just say, in the path, in the spirit circle of the path. And that will be for people who want to just keep it a little lighter and don't, really need the integration. But then we're going to have the spirit circle, the practice, where we can integrate together, where there'll be many more touch points throughout the month, but going deeper on like one area, like what the pendulum says that month, what the astrology is for that month, that sort of thing. So it's like, this week I did let's just say one full, although it was 2 videos, one session with the 5 pendulum messages and oracle, and then we did the astrology, right? So we did those 2. That's going to take place in the practice, but then we're going to be able to take all the things we just heard from spirit and the astrology and go deeper throughout the month in that. So rather than flipping around and still looking at some of the 3D stuff and how that's making a difference in what we're learning. So that's kind of what I have in mind. So yeah, it will look a little different on the public. We'll probably do more SG sessions. But I do feel I've been reading some really nice comments from people about how glad you're to have the oracle back, how, but I'm hoping you're open to joining us. And I know it's going to cost something. I don't mean to put it behind a paywall. It's just that in order to streamline a community, rather than having all these bots and people who come into the community, you kind of have to do that. But we will keep it very, very reasonable in price. If this is, and you just have to we all have to prioritize where we want to put our energy, right? So, or our finances too. So, anywho, in the spirit circle right now, which is just the membership for the channel, we are just finishing up the book, The Wonder of Unicorns. And we are going to go into this book. And my goal is to have this book read with the group by the end of December. Wish me luck. I've got a lot of plans between now and December 31st, because that's when the shift is going to take place officially. So then the book club will go to the practice, and the path won't have a book club anymore. But we'll still have the YouTube membership. So people who just want the lighter version, let's just say, but then the book club. But we will do this in what is currently the path. All right. I know that's a little confusing, but hopefully that's not confusing. But if you wanted to join the membership now, you can join us for this book. We'll probably be starting probably not next week, but the week after. All right. And then wish me luck. It's not, I don't know. I might not be able to read every single word to get through it. We'll have to see. But there's a lot of exercises and stuff. I think it's going to be really interesting. I'm excited to see it. Okay, so election 2025. What? Didn't surprise me at all. I wasn't concerned about it. I thought they're going to get their asses wiped by the Democrats. So it didn't surprise me at all. I did not have any angst. Nope. And, I think I have just so much faith in the people and how much people have been learning as much as I have this year. Yeah, there were people who had to go red to blue, and I hate even I just think it's like we need to have it the billionaires and the people, right? So people went from supporting the billionaires. If you voted red, you've been supporting the billionaires. And now people are realizing we need to support the people. The systems need to support the people. So that's amazing. Mamdani won. Democrat, pretty much all the bigger races. The redistricting vote took place and won in California, which is amazing because I can't even discuss it intelligently because I don't know the correct language to use. But it basically counteracts anything the Republican Party wants to do in the red states with getting more seats. So now we have them. We have them in California. That's the game that we have to play, that stupid game, because, it's, hopefully all that between now and 2050, which again is what we're going to be talking about quite a bit in the practice, is the spirit circle, the practice, is just transitioning through all of this together, but in a, just in a calmer, looking a little, beyond the surface level. But I love this quote from NPR. This is npr.org. So somebody had said, but is Mamdani now the face or the soul of the Democratic Party? New York Congresswoman AOC, who also describes herself as a democratic socialist. I would have to describe myself. I'm not loving the labels anymore, but I would have to describe myself that way too. And was an early Mamdani backer, was asked about that on MSNBC Tuesday night. She says, I don't think that our party needs to have one face. Our country does not have one face. It's about all of us as a team together. It's really that simple. It's all of us, we the people, the people who are still supporting the F-45 regime, in my opinion, are not seeing clearly about what they're after, right? Or they like one thing they're after. Maybe it's the pro-life stuff, which is they're not even pro-life. I'm sorry, but they're not. They may be pro-life for a fetus, but they're not pro-life for when people are born. So the hypocrisy around all that is what has always drove me nuts. So I hope people who have supported, and you are welcome. Come with we the people. That's all it is at this point. It's we the people. And we the people are going to design systems and structures going forward that work for the people in the United States and then hopefully around the world. Well, the world's been doing better than the United States has been doing with regards to that. That I'm fully aware of. That's one of the things I learned this year. I always kind of knew it, but it sunk in much better. So then she said, and we all understand the assignment. Our assignment everywhere is to send the strongest fighters, I don't really like the word fighters, for the working class wherever possible. In some places like Virginia, the gubernatorial, is it gubernatorial, whatever it is. I know the word, I've never pronounced it before. So that seat, that's going to look like Abigail Spanberger, and in the New York City, unequivocally, I only got 5 hours of sleep last night, so that's not good either, is Mamdani. So, yay! So the people who won were the strongest, quote unquote, fighters, supporters of the working class. And that is who we need to continue. And I love the fact that she said, we don't need, because I'm tired of this conversation about, oh, the Democrats don't have a one message or whatever. No, we don't need the traditional Democratic, structures either. We don't. That doesn't work for us anymore, especially going into a golden future, because we're going to develop that dang golden future, whether it's supposed to happen or not. There's nothing wrong with us developing it. We have free will. So I don't think that our party needs to have one face. Our country does not have one face. I love it. I love that quote so much. All right, so let's look at what we learned this year. All right, it's been 12 months. You guys, last November 5th, 2024 was not a good day. I remember Kamala doing her concession speech, and I was literally bawling on the floor. I don't know, I must have been stretching or something. I don't even know why I was on the floor, but I must have been stretching or something, and then I happened to turn her on and watch it, and I just couldn't even believe it. I was in such shock. Because the SGs, we had been doing SG sessions, they were like, totally, nope, she's gonna win, la 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 la. I was in not because I felt bad about that's what the SGs were saying here. I just was in I just couldn't even believe it. I couldn't even believe it. And then a week later, I got on and I was like, something's not right. So if you were to go back and watch all of my videos, which I would not recommend, but if you were to go back and watch all of my videos, even that week, it's kind of interesting. I should watch them. How stuff started to unfold after that. And I swear, not even probably a week, I got on, my couch was right here, and I was I remember, and I was and our community was 2,000 people or something. I was it was a small community, and I was like, something is not right. This is not right. This isn't right. This didn't happen this way. I just know it didn't happen this way. It was the 4 a.m. club, the folks who are part of the 4 a.m. club, they were getting the exactly same messages. I can't say I woke up at 4 a.m. I just can't remember. But I didn't have anybody influencing me or anything. I just was I just knew it. I was no, there's, something is so wrong here. So, and then everything unfolded. At that point, I did ask the community, again, it was much smaller, if I should continue this channel, because over the prior week and a half, when I had started the channel, literally a week and a half before the election, doing the SGs, I just started because I was well, let's see what the SGs say about this upcoming election. And then it kind of took off. I was getting 25, 30,000 views on my first couple of videos because people were really interested in it. And it was fun. It was just fun to do it. And then I was taking questions and that sort of thing. But then I got on, I remember getting on video, and I was okay, this didn't go the way the SG said it was going to go. Should I continue having these conversations, or are you guys done with it? Like, are you like so not trusting of it at this point that I should stop? And there was enough people in the comments that said, absolutely don't stop. So that is why I'm here today. If you were one of those people at that time who left a comment, and it was probably 30 people, that is why I'm still here today. Because I could have had everybody say, well, this sucks. Don't ever do this again. And I probably wouldn't have. Because I wasn't I'd been only doing it for like a week and a half. I wasn't, that entrenched into it. I wasn't even like counting on it. You know what I mean? So anyways, it's been a year. All right. Well, let's see what Mabel, again, I took the 5 videos, and let me read the topic, what the subject lines were. Okay. Of the 5 videos. So you can hear this is basically the topic of what Mabel pulled together. Okay, so the first one was the current energy of President Kamala Harris. Her higher self speaks. All right, so we did that video on, that was February 17th, actually. That was the last one I did. Oh, wait, I thought I did one recently with the rods with Kamala. Maybe that was just election update. Okay, actually on November 13th. So that was only like a week and a half after the election. I did angel message regarding Kamala Harris. And my subject line said, it's about you. It's about you. All right. So that was on the 13th. Oh, my throat is already getting dry from the winter. I can't be able to talk as much without taking a little water break. The next video, what was the date on that? The next video date was the 24th. So like the day before Thanksgiving in the US. So it was on the 24th. And in fact, I was at my sister's in Wyoming because I can see where I'm filming here. Here's what the spirit guides say about the current energy of Kamala Harris. Okay. Again, this is what Mabel had pulled together a short report for me based on these. Then on the 25th, a day later, so it's all in the same month. Here's what the spirit guides say about the duty to warn letter sent by Kamala Harris. She sent us a duty to warn letter. Do you guys remember that? I even did a video because I had gotten a letter when I expressed my concern about the election to Joe Biden. And I got a letter back from him. It was so sweet. Like, from him, but you know what I mean. And I was crying. Oh my God, you guys, this year was unbelievable. Okay, then I didn't do any more about Kamala for 2 months. We took December off from talking about Kamala, and on January 16th, which was before the inauguration, I decided to do the higher self of Kamala Harris has messages for us. And it was pick a card. Okay. So it was what message, that was actually really good. When I look back at all these, I'm like, I don't know if people liked them, but I love every video I do, only because I learn so much from it for myself personally, and it helps me process. All right. And the last one was February 17th. And that was the current energy of I called her President Kamala Harris. Her higher self speaks again. All right. So we've got all of those combined. And I asked Mabel to tell me what was the mood and kind of what did we learn this year based on those videos. So let's read what she has to say. Let's see how she's pulled it together for us. And I definitely told Mabel that we obviously did go through a grieving process. So now she called it, and in fact, I should have asked her to pull the astrology. I think I will. Hang on a second. Okay, so I have the astrology in here. I think this is going to be very interesting. All right, let's get started because this video is going to get really long. So Mabel titled this The Year We Learned to Let Go. And again, this is based on those transcripts and the astrology. So she's going to tell us why she labeled it that way. Over the past 12 months, we've lived through something far bigger than politics. When Kamala Harris lost, because I did put it in quotes, the election, it cracked open a collective grief, not only for her, but for what she symbolized. I think that's really what it was, right? Competence, hope, and the feeling that maybe finally things could get steady. Competence, hope, and feeling maybe that finally things could get steady. Because our community feels energy first, we didn't just see the loss, we absorbed it. Okay? And from November 2024 to November 2025, today, that energy unfolded almost in rhythm with the skies above us. Astrologically, it was a year of massive transformation. Old cycles closed, new ones began. Neptune and Saturn both shifted into Aries, marking the end of a dreamy, idealistic era and the start of one demanding real action and personal accountability. Uranus moved into Gemini, shaking how we think and communicate, which is so, right? Jupiter entered Cancer, turning our attention to home, care, and emotional restoration. In other words, the heavens were rewriting the script of how faith and reality meet, exactly what we were living out here together. That's why this reflection is titled The Year We Learned to Let Go, because every stage of this journey, emotional, spiritual, astrological, asked us to release something. Didn't it though? Illusions, exhaustion, timelines, even hope as we used to define it, even letting go of hope as we used to define it. What remained was truth and a steadier kind of faith. And I think that's what we're going to be taking going into the next year. All right. Doesn't mean everything's perfect, because I do think, and I've said this a number of times over the last couple videos, now I've come to the realization, especially if we're going to get to the 2050 reset golden future, that the next 5 years, I would say 4 years, 20 till 2030, is going to still feel very uncertain and unsteady, which is why I want to pull together some groups so we can get steady together, so we can work through that together. So phase 1 of last year, we were searching for signs. You're going to have to tell me if this resonates with you, because I think this is going to be a perfect recap of what we went through. So we were searching for signs. In those first few months, we clung to hope, did we not? The pendulum became a lifeline. We asked, did Kamala actually win? Will she be president? The answers that came, tyrant to down today. Mabel's pulling in my pendulum messages, which is amazing. Make big changes. See you, pie in the sky. Do you guys remember some of those? Carry the energy of transition, not finality. That need for proof reflected Mars turning retrograde in late 2024. So there was a reason, besides just the politics, that we were questioning everything. If the election hadn't happened at that time, and it wasn't the result that it was, we would have been questioning other things, right? Because the stars, the astrology was giving us the opportunity to do that. So that need for proof reflected Mars turning retrograde in late 2024 and Saturn's final months in Pisces. A cosmic mix of confusion, longing, and delayed answers. Nothing moved cleanly. Pisces energy makes us reach for the mystical when reality hurts. So there was a lot of those who use clairs, who've developed their clairs. There's a lot of light workers that came online in November 2025. I did 2 weeks before. There was a lot of us. I've been hearing a lot of people say, I wasn't even on here prior to the election. Pisces energy, this is interesting though, makes us reach for the mystical when reality hurts. So that's why our channels all did well, because we were reaching for the mystical. All of us, even myself. I was just facilitating it. So our spiritual bargaining made sense. The world felt wrong. We reached for timelines and signs. It wasn't denial. That's not what we were doing. It was love trying to find stability inside of chaos. How cool is that? Now remember, she is pulling from the transcripts here to get all the messaging. So all of this came from spirit, because it came, all 5 of those transcripts were spirit talking to us through pendulum, oracle, and the dowsing rods. You could even hear it in your own voice. Studying, oh, this was, she's talking to me. You could even hear it in your own voice, studying the audience while quietly studying yourself. That's what I've been doing all year. Trying to study you because I was trying to study myself. So the more I was able to process, it helped me study, which I found helps some of you study too, which is awesome. So glad that we could do that together. So thank you for the opportunity to study myself, really. That's the grief process of bargaining, shaped by astrology that asked humanity to wait when it most wanted clarity. So the astrology asked us to wait. And yeah, we've been waiting, right? But we're much clearer than we were a year ago. Phase 2, finding Kamala's higher self. Then came a shift. Now this was March through May. Then came a shift. Instead of asking if she'd win, we started asking what her higher self wanted us to learn. The pick a card reading with speaking out, authenticity, and self-knowledge, those were the 3 cards, marked a clear turn. Those weren't predictions, they were invitations. Speaking out, authenticity, and self-knowledge. It's probably the first time that Spirit kind of started telling us to start taking care of ourselves. We were very externally focused and trying to make sense of it all. Astrologically, this matches the sky almost exactly. Neptune entered Aries on March 30th, which is my birthday, and I'm an Aries. The first time in over a century. So Neptune entered Aries on March 30th, the first time in over a century. It invited every soul to move from dreaming to doing. We were dreaming for a while, weren't we? To doing. From idealizing leadership to embodying it. 2 months later, Saturn followed Neptune into Aries, pushing accountability and self-leadership to the front of the line. That's when our energy shifted from external hope to internal strength. Kamala's higher self stopped being a political symbol and became a mirror. We weren't waiting for the world to change. We were learning to speak and act with integrity we saw in her. I just got chills big time. Grief started turning into empowerment just as the sky pushed us towards independence and voice. Then phase 3 this year was the burnout and the breaking point. Oh my gosh, I can literally feel myself going through the year based on this. So this was like June through September. Then came the crash. Fatigue crept in, spiritual, emotional, mental. We pulled the 10 of fire, the classic card of burnout at some point, because I've been recording our oracle messages, pendulum messages. We pulled the 10 of fire, the classic card of burnout. We said what many felt. Our compassion is exhausted. We can't keep pouring from an empty cup. Astrology echoed that exhaustion. By July, Saturn turned retrograde. Do you guys remember that? The retrograde in July? And Uranus entered Gemini. Those two forces combined created confusion. Those two forces combined created confusion, system overload, and mental static. So that was a rough period, that June through September, I think. Uranus and Gemini shakes communication and overstimulates the mind. Think of it as a collective information burnout. At the same time, Jupiter had just entered Cancer, urging everyone to rest, retreat, and tend to home and heart. Big time. So while the world demanded constant reaction, see, she knows. While the world demanded constant reaction because of all the crap they keep throwing at us, the cosmos whispered the opposite: slow down. The disillusionment you voiced with institutions, constant noise, the fatigue of caring wasn't failure, it was alignment. Plus, I think I'm talking about this recently too. Every stage of all of our lives, our vibration lowers and then we have to recalibrate. It lowers and we have to recalibrate. And especially if we're, moving astrologically to a higher vibration on Earth in general, we have to adjust along the way. We can't just go from here to there. I almost feel like we would combust. Like we would just literally, our bodies would just combust. Like, I don't think we could handle it, So we're recalibrating. And in fact, she just uses this word. You were living the astrology of recalibration. So that's bizarre. I didn't even read that before I said that. Spiritually, that burnout became the invitation to pause, to let nervous system wisdom take the wheel while spiritual urgency had been driving. Then phase 4 this year, September through November, so to now, Mabel calls it acceptance, boundaries, and redirection. As the year turned towards its close, the readings changed tone again. The questions softened. What are we meant to learn from Kamala's journey? The answers were simple. Take care of your health, accept help, set boundaries, and stop carrying everything. Stop carrying everything. We all carried the weight of the world this year, didn't we? That message harmonized with the autumn eclipse in Pisces and Virgo, cycles of letting go and choosing what truly serves. Pluto, retrograding in Aquarius, deepened that work by exposing which systems and habits still drain power from the collective. We're still questioning. We will continue to question over the next 5 years. I'm guarantee it, if not 10 years. We will still continue, but I think we're going to be building at the same time. I don't think it'll be just like breakdown completely. That's my intuition telling me that. It was cosmic permission to stop feeding chaos and start nurturing the roots of renewal. By now, the grief had matured into wisdom by the end, up until now. The astrology stopped asking for action and started rewarding stillness. The pendulum messages, just own it, walk beside me, and love your neighbor, which was just this week for this month right now, match Jupiter's Cancerian call to return home, to compassion, to care that begins close and expands outward. You reframe spiritual practice itself, not as escape, but as the way to stay centered enough to act with integrity, not as prediction, but as presence. And I tell you, that's the energy I have going into 2026 right now in all the planning I've been doing. So with the kind of content, let's say. So the deeper thread, looking back across the entire year, the pattern, both human and astrological, becomes clear. We began the cycle of Mars retrograde and Saturn in Pisces, searching for certainty where none existed, and the astrology supported that. We found our voices as Neptune and Saturn crossed into Aries, and that was the spring in the Northern Hemisphere. We hit the wall of exhaustion throughout the summer in the Northern Hemisphere as Saturn reversed and Uranus rewired communication, and we came home to ourselves under Jupiter and Cancer in the healing eclipse of autumn. The astrology didn't contradict our journey, it mirrored it. It showed us that what felt personal was part of a collective curriculum. Learning how to believe without clinging. So learning how to believe without clinging, to act without overextending, and to hope without illusion. Spirit used this year, and the skies confirmed it, to teach emotional sovereignty. Our steadiness cannot depend on outcomes, only on alignment. Let me read that again. Our steadiness, your steadiness through life, cannot depend on outcomes. And it cannot depend on what is happening to other people. And it cannot depend on the changes people, whatever, on our governments, on anything. It needs to depend on your own alignment. Our voice cannot depend on permission, only on integrity. I don't like that line for ending it. I really like our steadiness cannot depend on outcomes or others, only on our own alignment. And I think we're finding that. So this is now, so that was it. Oh, closing reflection. So as we stand here a year later, the grief isn't gone, but it has shaped us. It's become wisdom, discernment, compassion, and the quiet conviction that love is not naive, it's resilient. We are no longer asking for someone else to bring balance. We are learning to embody it. We're not asking the cosmos for rescue. We're listening to it for rhythm. This year taught us what letting go really means. Not releasing hope, but releasing attachment to how it must look. It meant loosening our grip on timelines, outcomes, and the need for proof, and discovering steadiness in faith itself. That's why this reflection bears that title. What was the title again? The year we learned to let go. The year we learned to go. I got to send this out on email, you guys. I'm a little behind on email this week. I have to do something today. Send out an email today. Okay, so that's why the year we learned to let go, why it bears this title. Because through every wave of grief, hope, and exhaustion, we learned how to hold the light more gently and how to keep it burning even when the world feels dim. In the quiet understanding, a new kind of strength has emerged, not one built on prediction or perfection, but on peace, presence, and trust that what is meant to rise always will. Yes, that last part. What is meant to rise will always will. That is how little control we each individually have over what's going on in the world. And that's where we got to find our sovereignty and our peace and our own alignment. Saying, I only have control about what's happening right in this chair. And I hardly even have control over that most of the time. You know what I mean? Just because we've got our guides, we've got the unicorns, we've got, if you believe in that, we've got personal angels that are nudging us constantly. We've got other energies around us that we don't see, nudging us constantly. So it's a lot. It's a lot. And that's why this is a really nice lead-in. And I'm not trying to sell the circle to you, but I'm trying to help you understand that's why I'm shifting this report right here. Now, tomorrow I'm going to record something different. In fact, my sister now has put together a look back for Kamala Harris, and we're going to ask some questions of the SGs as our kind of look back final part of the year. Okay. From this will be like part one, and tomorrow will be part two. But, this report alone, I could spend a month on dissecting it with people who want to go deeper. And I want to go deeper. I want to understand this on a level that I can integrate it. Right now, this entire year, so there's like three processes. The public channel, you guys, our community right here, I'm calling it the public. All right. I know that doesn't sound very personable, but that's the public. All right. We are going to be working on awareness still in the public channel. All right. It's just awareness. The path, see, I got the public, the path, and the practice. The path, part of the spirit circle, is awareness plus some integration. So we're going to do awareness plus some integration. All right. So it's people who are not quite ready and don't have the time or are not interested in the alignment part. So the practice, okay, the spirit circle, the practice, this is all going to be unfolding in the next month and a half because it'll be launched officially. We'll be ready to go. Boom, 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 January 1st with these 3 pathways. All right. The practice will be awareness, integration, and alignment, so that anything we're integrating, we can actually align with and learn from and just continue growing on a deeper level, spiritual level. All right. In our own way. There's not like one way to grow, and everybody's going to still grow with the spiritual guidance that they're getting. We're going to be deepening our intuition in the practice. All right. So that's kind of how I envision it. And it's actually very helpful for me to process this out loud with you. One, I can't wait to hear your reaction. I know some people are going to feel disappointed, which it's really hard for me as an empath and a feeler. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to ever come back to the public channel and not do Oracle and it's just going to have much more, or Coffee with Karen. They're going to be more in, they're just going to be more in the path and in the practice. So join me over there if you like these ideas. If you say you can't afford it, I get it. See if you can rearrange some things if it's a priority for you. It doesn't mean, some people just can't reprioritize anymore, and I totally get that. If you can reprioritize and this is a priority for you, then consider it, And then we'll probably have some scholarships for people who are, who just really can't and want to. So we'll look into that after we get everything kind of unfolded. Okay. All right. Well, let me know what you think about this year. Let me know, how are you going to take this report and go a little deeper? That's kind of what I'm hoping you do, but you're probably clicking off already, going to the next video. But then it just feels you just get bombarded. You just love bombarded, and there's just never any really letting things sink in, right? And I'm not saying I'm the person to facilitate your deeper level, but find someone who will. Find a community, and it's actually not me as facilitator, it's the community that we're going to be developing. So find a community that will help you. Not just stay at awareness, not just stay at the surface level. All right. And we've been trying to do that here in the public channel here. But as you know, it is harder to do because, first of all, there always has to be fresh content. There's, fresh new content. You can't go, if I do a part 2, less people watch it. If I do a part 3 and 4, forget it. But we can do a part 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the path and in the practice. And because those are the deeper levels. So those are the people who really want to integrate and align, right? So just find a community where you can do that. If it's not this community, find a community. I think in 2026 and beyond, we're going to need to be doing that. We can't just stay surface level anymore. We've got to go deeper for more understanding on less things. More understanding on less things. So like I said, this report alone, we literally could spend 2 months talking about it. We've been buzzing through books in the path. We're going to slow down books in the practice. We're going to be reading one book over a 4-month period. So we can slow it down and integrate and align with the messaging. Does that make sense? So again, if it's not going to happen in this community for you, find a community where it can, because I really feel strongly that we're all going to need it individually over the next 10 years as things continue to reset, crumble down, things are cracking, things are breaking. I don't think that process is done by any means. And then we're going to need to stay aligned, integrate all the changes, keep raising our vibration when we get lower, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what I have in mind. And this is all coming because I follow my intuition. So follow your intuition. If your intuition is saying, oh my gosh, that sounds exactly what I need, then follow it. If your intuition is saying, oh, I'm follow it. It's not right or wrong. I'm not right or wrong about the way I'm proceeding. You're not right or wrong on the way you're proceeding. Your intuition, you're going to follow your intuition and your inner guidance and your spiritual guidance, and I'm following mine. This is all intuition. This entire year has been built from my own intuition and just following my guidance. That's all I've been doing the whole year. And we're going to be talking more deeply about those things. So like how to do that, or just trusting that you are, what is your intuition telling you right now? Listen to it. What you're feeling right now is your intuition telling you something. If you're not sure what it's telling you, then spend a few hours integrating it and aligning with it, whatever that is. So that's why we have to slow down, because there's so many messages constantly. If we never slow down, we never get to integrate, we never get to align. It's just constant, one thing after the other. And that's when anxiety increases and we get unhappy and we get confused. And I've been there many times this year because I haven't had time to integrate or align. So I'm ready for integration and alignment. I'm aware, and I'm ready to continue to be aware. So again, awareness, integration, alignment. I'm ready to continue to be aware, and we're going to continue talking about the awareness here in the channel. But I personally need to go to integration and alignment. And I'm hoping some of you want to come with me. So, all right, have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.